stability. You really can't compare with what was going on at the time when those hooligans were beating people in Kulima Tower and everywhere. Intercity, you couldn't use the intercity back then. The relative comparison is that there's calmness now. Freedom Day, Freedom Month, since we've done 1 month plus. It's Freedom Year, it's freedom forever. Now, to institutionalize that, Luchi, we need the police to do their work because they are the ones who should maintain law and order. They've been given the political will, they've been given the direction from the executive. They are part of the executive, by the way. They ought to protect citizens. They should do that. But in doing that, we've also indicated very clearly that they must not abuse human rights. You get that? We get that? Because in maintaining law and order, you don't have to go out and beat savagely people, tear gas people, discharge live ammunition, as was the norm. People forget, it's only 60 days ago. 60 days ago, it was bullets at the High Court there. We have members with bullets in their bodies. And the hospitals couldn't attend to them. Now we have said the hospitals must remove those bullets from their citizens. But in removing bullets from their citizens, we don't want citizens in the name of UPND to sink more bullets in other citizens' bodies. Not at all. That will not happen. It will not happen. Hear it from me. If it happens, then the law takes its course. That does not mean we don't like the UPND members. We love them, but we want them to do things within the law. And that again goes to the institutions that fight these things. Prosecution. If these transgressions where people shot other citizens, the law must apply. The law must, let me be clear. If you were the one who shot Lawrence Banda in Kahoma, 10, 11 hours in the morning, the right thing to do is to hand over yourself to the police. Because the police now must do their duty. They don't need my instruction, the president's instruction. I don't want to belabor this point to say, Luchi, there will be lingering behaviors. 10 years of bad behavior, 10 years of hooliganism cannot be healed in 1 month and 3 weeks. It will take a bit of time, but every time it rears its ugly head, it will be dealt with within the law, with respect for human rights, liberties, and freedoms. I think that is the way we should approach this thing. And we shouldn't be singing songs, oh no, there was an instance in Choma. There will be instances in Lusaka right here.
And there was a guy.
But we will rein in on those. But we will rein in on those issues. I think that's important. Clarity, law and order must apply, and law recognizes no political party. That's what our friends failed to do. Luchi, that's the leadership we are providing. That alone, to many people, once you have your freedoms, you can now trade as a woman, as a widow. You can hire a truck to move the tomatoes you've ordered from a farm in Chisamba to Soweto, and you land in Soweto, and you know there will be no thugs grabbing your tomato boxes and putting a price for you, and you lose money, you go back home. You've lost in that transaction. If any citizen is listening to this conversation and they are aware of such issues, please place a call here on this program and express your experience of these issues, and my team will take note of that. We will call that individual back after the program and make some remedial moves to protect citizens. First call we have is to protect citizens from internal threats. Of course, external enemies, we all know that. I don't have to waste time on that. Yeah. So I guess I have answered the question. Luchi, just being on this program, in office one month, 3 weeks, I had a press briefing, I think 2 weeks ago. Now we have this radio program. One of my colleagues, respected colleagues, after the flash went out, media flash went out that I'll be having this radio program, said, no, Mr. President, don't do it. Because the PF and opposition are lining to embarrass you. I said, I'm not here. I'm not working for the PF. Yes, they're citizens, but I'm working for all the citizens, not the PF. And we should not be walking away from our commitment because opposition, Luchi, will say things or to embarrass you. There is no basis for embarrassing anyone. If a person makes a call that is aggressive, that is abusive, it's up to them. And the citizens will judge, the listeners will judge as to whether this call makes sense or it doesn't make sense. But it is part of the commitment. Luchi, I may remind you that I was appearing on your program. Till you finish. Yes. And I said, once we form government, we will change the culture. The president has to speak to the citizens directly. And this is it. I made a commitment, I have fulfilled.
And I'm grateful that you've honored it.
Thank you, I've honored it.
Yes.
You are too quiet. You must say it loudly. I think it's you who interviewed.
It is me.
What did we discuss that time? Let's have a conversation.
No, I mean we had many discussions, me and you.
On this one?
On this particular one.
Yeah.
Yes, we agreed that if you did win, which you did,
I used to tell you when.
Yes, when you win.
I
exactly.
used to tell you when we win.
And you said to me, that one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to appear on Phoenix, and I'll allow as many people to call in. And I said, here's what this is the truth. This is what I actually said to you. I said to you, I've heard this before from others. Mm-hmm. But what tends to happen is when they do win, you never hear from them again.
So, what did I tell you, Rose? I said I'm different.
Yes.
I said we're cut from a different cloth. And here I am. Without concern of anyone who is planning to go to embarrass, that's their responsibility. I have my responsibility. To who? To the people. So, if you have a pen and paper, you start ticking the things we committed to do. This is one you tick. That I have fulfilled it. This is twice in 1 month, 3 weeks. But this is the way, in my view, it should be. How can you be in a public office at this level for 10 years, for 5 years, 10 years, and you don't hear the people directly? Everything can be seen. Remember, in this office, there are people around here who think their job is to protect the president from hearing and knowing what people are saying. I'm not one of those presidents. No, not at all. So, tick that box. Okay. Commitment. This is only the beginning or second. But also, what else did we say? Around here, Luchi, we say that the media will not be guarded. The media will be protected. The media will self-regulate. Because there was issues around media regulation, restricting the freedom of the media. Media is the fourth estate, and we've lived by our word by getting the media to regulate themselves. Get on with the work, regulate yourselves. We are all waiting. The ball is in your court now. And I'm surprised that the media is reasonably quiet when for years you could not have this opportunity. Now you have it. So regulate yourselves, be professional, be fair. Facts matter because you can destroy people who are innocent. I'm a victim of that, which, as you know, the most discriminated, the most arrested, the most abused. And some media organizations ran a campaign against HH. No, HH is a Masonist. I have no idea what Mason means. HH is a whatever. I have no idea. Anything, isms were thrown at me by the media. Self-regulation means being responsible and being accountable to yourself, to the people, to the public, by simply being professional. Tell the truth. The truth doesn't hurt. Tell the truth. Be balanced. You can't scream headlines without the subject being hurt. So I think I'm not preaching how you should behave. I'm simply saying responsibility is important. And someone says, oh, hey, church, you're going to create a problem because now there'll be an avalanche of negative media. I said, no, there are laws already that will regulate excesses, even for the media. So I think responsibility is what we're talking about. And I wish, Luch, you had played that conversation. I just wished you had played that conversation, and then you would have said, how we now here we are, based on that conversation. But
actually,
you are the boss.
Yeah,
that's
so that's I just want to, I want to just one thing on this point, and then I want to allow as many people to speak to you.
Yeah.
So
one or two things we state.
okay, all right. So you also said one of the things you committed to me was that you would have continuous engagements. Is that something that you're still committed
Yes.
to? So is that a quarterly? Is it monthly? What does that look like?
I think between the media, let's just get organized, because even getting you here as Phoenix has made a few media houses unhappy. Now, this is something we want to grow out of. At a particular engagement, I can only be hosted by one media organization. But if the media organizations organize themselves that simultaneously like this, you will have 2, 3, 4 radio stations, television stations. You agree that there will be one moderator and the second moderator. If you want a third one from different media organizations at the same function like that, you see the extra chairs there. One or two other interviewers or moderators who have sat here. I have no problem with that. But learn to work together in complementarity. Sometimes people always think of competition. My mind works different. Because I come from a professional home. First, I come from the village where we lived as a community. You realize the value of the person next to you. As hunters, young boys, someone runs faster than you. And when you go out hunting, you want the guy who runs faster to be in front of you so that the chances of taking meat home is high. But someone raises something you don't know because you didn't grow up in the village, raises dogs better. There is an art in raising dogs. And so you want the guy that raises dogs better, who know how to catch. Those were those days. These days we don't want to do those things, animal cruelty, right? But you work with that guy so that, again, you have a chance of having something for the meal. So work as a media, organize yourselves. How do you want this to be done? The team in State House will work with you to actualize the regular engagement by composition of the media or alternating that this time it's this media house hosting, next time it is another station. So that by this hosting, Luchi, after that you don't get calls that, how come, Luchi, you are favored by HS? Not at all. How didn't organize this? You organize it with our staff here. And that's the way it should be. The regularity, you decide. But let's do it in a fair way.
Okay.
The president can't be on this program every week, every month. Maybe quarterly. I'm only suggesting, maybe quarterly, maybe whatever time. Let's agree, we'll be there.
Okay.
But also there are occasions where you'll be able to interview the president frequently. Last week we had a COVID-19 relaunch, and it gave the opportunity to the media who were there to engage. And we will be having such functions going forward. So all I want to say to your colleagues in the media, that they will have their shot, and the public will have their shot. Let me also say something very briefly, that we also want to be able to have a situation, if the president, when the president is on the Copperbelt, we can have a media engagement on the Copperbelt, so that the people of the Copperbelt feel much better that we are also open to them. So will be the media in the provinces, in Chipata, Breeze FM, in wherever else, Radio Liseri in Mongu, any. So, but let's be organized. Because you are dealing with an organized president, let's be organized ourselves. Then it's easier to do things. Would you allow me to say one or two things?
Can I? Because the idea here is that it's an open line forum with you, and I think let me at least allow the first 3 questions that I have in text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do a deal with you?
Okay.
Just spend 2 minutes.
Okay.
Just to say a few things.
Okay.
That will probably contextualize the questioners.
Okay.
Allow the questioners to raise things that I think are of vital importance.
So the deal is 2 minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You see, let me comment on 1 or 2 key issues. Again, driven from our agenda before we form governments. Very important in my view. What are we doing? What did we come to do? What brought us into public office? It's a ticket of change, Luchi. Change meaning what? Change to drive the economy, to reconstruct the economy. That's a flagship. Reconstructing the economy for what? To reconstruct the economy to create opportunities for our people in an equitable way. Jobs, business, opportunities to do business, even just to trade in the market, like I described earlier, freedom to be able to trade in the market, and no one should beat you, because that's your right. And we've talked about that happening. To access health services, to access education for all. Again, this is one where some colleagues are saying HH and you've been overpromised. We did not overpromise. We made no overpromising, no promise. Education for all is a bare minimum. Everybody who has intellect, even those that have parents have no resources, our agenda on the road, our eyes are set there, is that we should give them opportunities to go to school, just like I did. That's not overpromising. But we are also saying that we will be smarter, Luchi, in the sense that in delivering education for all, we will discriminate positively. What do I mean? We will change the system. We are working to change the system. Not we are working to change, because we're in office now. We're working to change the system that even the current bursary system must be improved and loan system must be improved, so that the beneficiaries are from families that are stressed, that cannot afford. Not the beneficiaries being HH's children. No, my children must not be in the queue. They must stand aside because HH can take care of them. That leaves space for a child from Ngombe, Chiprukusu, Kashinakachi, Mungomba, Mutomena, Sishekano, and all of those places. That's the point. We must contextualize and understand what we're saying, education for all. Indeed is education for all. And when we go to those children who are vulnerable, who are orphans, who are struggling family. I hate the word low. Struggling families, because no one is lower than another. Inherently, we are all equal, but financially, economic circumstances. There, someone will say, how will you deliver that? It's simple. The delivery of which child should get the facility. If there are 10 amongst that category that deserve it, Luchi, the one who is first in the queue is the one with the best results in that category. We've removed those who can afford, their parents can afford. Now we go to those who deserve it. If there's a limitation over time, as we grow the economy, then the first priority will go the brightest. Just hang on a little bit, Rich, to the brightest child. That's how it was under county. We went for national service, and then there was military, there was production. You could be there for a number of months, the minimum 6 months. You got out of the camp, military camp, like I did, because when your results came, you got a distinction, and the acceptance of UNZA came. With that acceptance came automatically the bursary. Many people didn't know that was a positive discrimination amongst those who deserve a bursary. It's not different until we're able to bring more numbers on board, and probably even university education, secondary school. That is not overpromising. Let me move away. I see you want to challenge.
This is very hard because I wanted to make a point about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So in 5 years from now, is the idea to have free education from grade 1 going forward, or is it still based off merits, how vulnerable, where you come from? Is that what's the thinking here?
I've explained, Luchi, our approach. Let's use the right word. Yeah. Education for all.
Okay.
That's the right word.
So it's not free education. So it's not free education.
There's a free component in there. No. I'm just
no,
saying,
because people are literal. People are very literal.
The word
if in the campaigns you said free education, and then you flip it and say education for all, the thinking is, oh, he's gone back again.
No. Thing was there. What we're saying is not different. Okay. So please, let's not be verbose and begin to create issues that don't exist. Those who like to talk that language are the ones who want to say, oh, the UPND and its partners overpromised. The UPND wishes to deliver the barest minimum to society, including education, health, as it were. Let me just finish off this, and then we can engage if you wish. Let me indicate that this is a parameter, this is a platform we elected. To do this, to deliver change, opportunity for our people equitably in many ways, we have to deal with a couple of things. These things, because they affect our ability to deliver. These things include managing the COVID-19 pandemic. Because if we don't bring COVID under control, it will constrain our ability to deliver on the change platform for the jobs that we need to create for the youth, because the economy will not be freely open and flexible, and investments won't come. Remember, we are on the red list, and we worked very hard. It's another deliverable now. We worked very hard, appointed the COVID advisor, who is seated in this room. There was never anything like that. So that we raised the fight against COVID to State House level and push it, working with the ministries, line ministries, health, education, the frontliners, right? We have made a lot of progress there. Luchi, COVID advisor, I talked about that in the campaign, is here. Now we have relaunched the COVID vaccinations, but masking must continue. You're doing a good job. Masking must continue. And other issues of science, guided by science. But more importantly, manage the resources properly so that we can bring COVID under control. If you check in Europe, look at the tennis matches, Europe, America. Now people go to stadiums, the stadiums are filling up now. And if you check, very few people have masks. Why? Because they've been vaccinated. So when we vaccinate our people, we have a chance to reopen the economy. We have a chance to create jobs. We have a chance to save lives. Even if we may be challenged in terms of health service care delivery system, oxygen, and other things. Fourth wave may be coming. We're getting ready. So we relaunched the more vaccine. Our trip to New York, Washington, is following behind us 1.6 million vaccines, which we were able to negotiate that week we were in the States. This is what this presidency is all about. Delivering for the people, saving the lives of the people, then we can have a chance in the economic area. So managing resources is very important. So I encourage people to vaccinate. We are vaccinated, my wife, my children are vaccinated. Please, let's do it. Save the person next door to me. Rule of law, we talked about it. Absolute must. And we'll be relentless on this. Including what I'll get on, the fight against corruption. No sacred cows, past corruption, present, future. It's challenging, it's risky, our minds are clear. Recovering assets, you see movements there, but we had to put the anchors around there to make sure that the loopholes are sealed, to make sure that what you saw a few days ago, when a matter goes to court, the prosecution will be ready. It should not be happening. But again, old habits linger on. But we're raining on that. What else? What else? What else? The issue of decentralization, which taking money, devolution, taking money to the citizens. The budget in our country every year, citizens didn't know all these years, which when it was budget, wait for the budget. But they knew that in that budget, there were only two items: debt service, public sector emolument. There was really nothing else for citizens. The first budget we're putting in place, we are bringing devolution, decentralization at the center, moving money from the thieves in the urban centers, the few that are privileged to occupy public office. As you will see when we start asset recovery, huge money, gluttonous behavior. People, one person will take millions of dollars. You will see that. We've been working methodically, and when the results start showing, you'll be very pleased with us. And we learned the lessons of the task force time, where there was little recovery. This time we are focusing on retrieving the money, then allocating it to where it's needed most, including education, health, other areas, youth support, right? Very important. But the youth must know that we have to do these things first in order to create resources. Now we have a budget, you will see first budget of the UPND. It's 2022. Even what we are doing now, we are doing them outside the budget, because the budget is a PF budget up to December. That's the truth. And citizens need to know that. And this budget will now move some resources gradually upwards to the center, to the not to the center, to the local area, away from the center, so that the woman, my last example, the woman doesn't have to walk 5 kilometers with a bucket of water here, 20 liters, a child at the back, firewood here, 5 kilometers to and fro from collecting water. Now the decision will be made at the local level. We want a borehole here, but the borehole must be done at the right cost. That's what we're doing. We are also working on ensuring that communities, when they receive the resources, they don't become the new thieves in the village. Accountability. We had a meeting right here with the Auditor General, and the Auditor General will be auditing districts now, where the constituencies are, where the money is going. But the important thing I must say, we are changing the procurement guidelines. One,